So the finals of the World Cup 2026 is set between Spain and Argentina. Yamal versus Messi. So today we're going to talk about the semi-finals and how each team did. First, Spain played France and I got it wrong. Before the game I predicted that France was too strong for Spain. That France attack was undefendable and their defense has been solid. And just the power of Olise, Dembele and Mbappe was on paper too strong, but I didn't think it was just on paper, because on the field they showed every game that they are legit. They are the best attack in the tournament. So logically I did not think that any team could stop this France team, but I was wrong. And a part of the reason I think that they did not perform against Spain was maybe they had that same mindset. Maybe they thought that due to the firepower that they have, that the individual qualities of these players was enough to score the goals that will put them through to the final. But Spain proved me wrong. Before the match I said Spain's performances was underwhelming, and I still stand by that, because the thing with Spain is they are a team that controls, yet so far in this tournament I said that they don't have the cutting edge to penetrate through the defenses of these big teams like France. But I was wrong and I accept that. I hold my hands up. Spain dominated this match, and it's not just about dominating the midfield. Every single player dominated the France team. The thing about this Spain team is they play with chemistry, and the way that Spain plays is very different from how a national team plays. See, the reason why World Cup is so exciting for people and people enjoy it so much is because of the way that teams play. In international football, coaches does not have enough time with the team to drill in their ideas and set them up tactically. So that's why when you watch the World Cup, you see that a lot of these games are very open. Both teams has a chance, both teams can attack. It's end to end, because mostly they rely on the players itself. That's why a lot of the times the best players wins. But the thing with Spain is they play like they've been playing together for like the whole season. They have that chemistry. They play like a club team, not a national team. And in every aspect of the field, Spain dominated. First, let's talk about Spain's defense. Unai Simon proved me wrong. I said that when you have David Raya, when you have Joan Garcia, how can you be starting Unai Simon? But he was flawless. Pedro Porro, he came off a poor season for Spurs, and I had no expectation of him, and I didn't even expect him to start initially, but he has been perfect, linking up with Lamine Yamal on the right, and the way that he has barely put a foot wrong defensively, and the way that he's attacking his goal, seeing Dani Olmo making that run that even the defenders, Lecroix, did not see. If you see the BBC replay, Lecroix was lost and Porro was wide open and he slotted in the corner. Kubarsi, I thought that against Belgium, Kubarsi didn't have the best of match, but apart from that, this guy has had a perfect World Cup. A World Cup that is worthy of young player of the tournament, and personally I think he should win it. In this Spanish defensive system, I think he's perfect. And there were a couple times last season for Barca that he made some mistakes, like the red card in the Champions League, but that is due to the high line of Barcelona. You know, he is one of the best defenders in the world, but he's only 19. And beside him, Laporte, when you saw him went to Saudi, you thought, okay, it's his time to relax. It's his time to just earn the money and be done with football. And then he went back to Bilbao, but in this tournament he has been so good that you think it's still the same Laporte as the time in Man City. These two defenders has a case of both being in the team of the tournament. And left back, Cucurella, Real Madrid's new signing. You can't deny he's one of the best left backs in the world. The way he locked up Dembele was speechless, because Dembele is a Ballon d'Or winner, you know. This is not the Dembele from a few years ago. This is Ballon d'Or Dembele. And Cucurella locked him up. So now we're gonna go into the midfield. This midfield is on a level that I've not seen midfields being on. And I've seen a lot of great midfielders. Rodri and Fabian Ruiz against France was spotless. They neutralized France. Anything that France tried to do through the middle failed. Why? Because of Rodri and Fabian Ruiz. Fabian Ruiz replaced Pedri in the starting lineup for the past 2 games because Pedri has been quite underwhelming this tournament. And Fabian Ruiz got the goal against Belgium. He didn't do much against Belgium, but against France, him and Rodri was dominating. And the thing about Rodri is, I prefer this Rodri to the Ballon d'Or Rodri. Because during the Ballon d'Or season, Rodri was a all-action box-to-box midfielder. He scored so many goals, the amount of long shots he took, but then he got the ACL and you thought that maybe this is the decline of Rodri. And maybe the first few months when he came back from the injury, he was not the same Rodri, but this tournament, I don't know what happened, but this is a different Rodri. This is almost the same level as Ballon d'Or Rodri. And depending on your preference of football, you might even say this Rodri is better than the Ballon d'Or Rodri. Why? This guy has a computer in his brain. Before he even receives the pass, he knows the passes he's going to make. He knows the next pass he's going to make. He only takes 1-2 touches. He doesn't need to hold on to the ball. And the way he locked up Olise. Let's talk about Olise first. Olise, people has put him in Ballon d'Or conversations, and rightfully so. For Bayern, the amount of assists he got, the way he dominates teams on the right wing. On the first match of the World Cup, the Shams put him on the right wing. And it didn't work. And then he had to swap with Dembele and play Cam. And he's been playing there ever since. And he's been the most important player for France. Everything goes through him. But in this knockout round, against Sweden, he was great. Paraguay, quiet. But understandably so, because Paraguay, because of the way Paraguay played. Against Morocco, he was nowhere to be seen. And now, against Spain, just in that first half, you can see the amount of balls that he lost. And every time he got the ball at center, Rodri was there, Ruiz was there. It was impossible for Olise. But going back to Spain, Lamine Yamal has been underwhelming this tournament, and I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he's still injured, or he's just coming back from injury, so maybe he's still not 100% sharp. But in this game against France was the best that we've seen him this tournament, especially in the second half. But I don't think he even needed to be anything special due to the collective effort of Spain. I think that in this Spain team, you don't even have to stand out. As long as you do your part, this Spain team works. It just works. The striker Oyarzabal, brilliant penalty. Maybe the only weak link in the Spain team is Alex Baena, because when Nico Williams came on, it was a whole different attack. Alex Baena, I'm not a fan of his. I think Nico Williams is levels above him, but of course Nico Williams is only coming back from injury. But hopefully Nico Williams is able to play more in the final. And Dani Olmo, which do what he's best at, which is being around the edge of the box. That's his favorite place. I think anywhere else in the pitch, he's not the greatest, but in the area, just at the edge of the box, that's where he thrives in, and he showed it again when Porro passed to him and he managed to anticipate Porro's run, give and go. That was what led to the goal. But let's talk about France now. France didn't come to play. France did not compete in the match. It was one-sided. The defense, Digne. Before the match, I saw Digne as the weak point. The point where Spain has to attack, and that penalty blatant penalty, by the way. And people might say Yamal didn't even try to win the ball. Yamal was looking for the foul. But sorry, Digne, this is the World Cup semi-final. You cannot be doing that, bro. Like, you're swinging the ball without looking what's around you. And Yamal got the ball first and he just ended up kicking Yamal. So, clear penalty. And throughout the match, Yamal just tried his best to target Digne, go at Digne, and Digne, I think, had a poor match. I think France midfield was really, really bad. I think firstly it started from Deschamps' decision to play a two midfield. I know that throughout the whole tournament they've been playing a two midfield, but against a Spanish team with that midfield of Rodri, Ruiz and Olmo, I don't think any team can use a two midfield and expect to even have a chance in the midfield, you know. In the first half, Tchouaméni and Rabiot was schooled, bro. They were schooled by Rodri and Ruiz. And at halftime, I thought, bring on Manu Kone for Tchouaméni, but of course Rabiot was on yellow card, so I guess that made his decision clear that he's gonna sub Rabiot instead of Tchouaméni for Kone. But I think that the Kone and Rabiot partnership has been working this tournament. So when Kone was with Tchouaméni, it was still the same as the first half, and they still had no chance in the second half. In attack, of course, Barcola, Olise, Dembele and Mbappe. I think in the first half, Barcola was the most lively. He's the one that still tried to take on the players, but of course Barcola is not known for his final action. Olise, like I said already, underwhelming. The amount of time he lost the ball for a player who's being put there up for Ballon d'Or conversations. He's not showing it in that match, and he hasn't been showing it for the past 3 matches. And Dembele, the thing with Dembele, he has 5 goals and a few assists this tournament, but those numbers does not represent his performances. I think that he's been poor. He hasn't been good, and for the quality of player there, it's just not good enough. And before the tournament, I saw people that said that Mbappe shouldn't be the main man of this team. Dembele is a Ballon d'Or winner, and Dembele should be up there beside Mbappe. But throughout this tournament, it's clear that Mbappe is still the main man. Mbappe is still Mr. France, Mr. World Cup. And Mbappe, this is his first game that I think that he was fully nullified. And that's because of Spain's dominance in the midfield and in defense. In a match like this, France has to go wide and cross the ball for strikers like Harry Kane, Haaland to pounce on and attack it. But France has Mbappe, and Mbappe is great, but Mbappe is not that kind of player, you know. In this match, I think Mbappe would have been better in the wing with a big man striker up top, but he tried his best, I guess. He had a few chances, but not good enough. So then that concludes France's era with Deschamps. So Spain easily deserves to be in the final, where they will be facing Messi's Argentina. Argentina versus England was a interesting one, to say the least. Before the game, I personally wanted to see a Yamal Messi final, but I predicted France to go through. And similarly, in this match, England versus Argentina, I predicted England to go through. And I was wrong for both. But I blame Tuchel, because for the first 55 minutes of this match, England played well. I thought that England was slightly the better team. Argentina didn't have the most chances, and they didn't have a single shot on target the first 55 minutes. And then in the 55th minute, Rodgers played an amazing ball to Gordon, and Gordon scored. And you think that now England is in a comfortable spot. They hold the fate of this game in their hands, you know. And the goal was great. Rodgers, I thought, didn't have the best of games, but that pass was brilliant. I thought they were capable of getting another goal, and if they had another goal, I think the game was sealed and they'll be in the final after so long. But then after the goal, Mr. Tuchel had other plans for this team. Immediately after the goal, England decided to drop back. They drop back, sit deep, obviously with the intention to defend their lead, to make it difficult for Argentina to score. And this continued. Mind you, this started 30 minutes away from full time, by the way. And it was a 1-goal lead. Maybe if it was a 2-goal lead, understandable. Maybe. Giving them a benefit of doubt. But they had a 1-goal lead more than 30 minutes away from full time. And they decided to defend. They defend so deep that even Harry Kane was behind the ball. And this continued. I just really think it was a dumb, very, very dumb tactic by Tuchel. And it might have worked against Mexico. It might have worked against Norway. But this is the defending champions, Argentina. Mind you, this Argentina side is not as good as the one 4 years ago. But this is still a side with players from the biggest of teams. They have Messi. They have Alvarez. Their midfield. This is not Mexico, you know. You give them space, you give them time on the ball, and they will make something out of the ball. And 15 minutes after the goal, they reinforce this tactic by bringing on Ezri Konsa. And you might think, who did they sub him out for? They sub out Anthony Gordon. The only outlet of this team, the only pace of this team, they sub him out. Meaning, they are fully in, by the way. They are fully committed to defending. There is no points in this England attack that they can even get the ball up, drive the ball up, and potentially hit Argentina on the counter. They were fully committed to defending by bringing on Ezri Konsa. Fine. Time went by. Then in the 82nd minute, Reece James got injured and he brought on Nico Riley. Alongside that sub, he brought on Dan Burn to replace Declan Rice. Dan Burn was brought to this World Cup to be a player that hits the ball out, to wait for crosses to come in and for him to hit the ball out. And this is ironic later on. In the 85th minute, Messi takes a quick corner. Then he gets the ball back. Then he drives slightly towards the box. Jet Spence is marking him. And then you see Elliot Anderson is behind Jet Spence. And you can see the whole England team is in the box. Maybe they're expecting a cross from Messi. A repeated pattern was seen a few minutes before that happened. Okay. And they were all in the box and they left Enzo Fernandez free outside the box, you know. And this is specifically annoying because the corner initially was a result of an Enzo Fernandez long shot. But yet again, literally immediately after, they left Enzo Fernandez open at the edge of the box again. At this time, Enzo Fernandez capitalizes. But if you watch the replay, that ball was nowhere near the corner. And this is the difference between a good goalkeeper and a Jordan Pickford. Pickford is short, he has short arms. He has good reactions, but when you look at margins, and for example this goal, this ball is nowhere near the corner, but Pickford did not manage to reach it. And then it's 1-1. And you think 1-1, this will force England to make substitutions that are positive, that are attacking. On the bench you have Marcus Rashford, you have Ollie Watkins, you have Bukayo Saka. Tuchel decides he's not going to make any subs. He's going to continue to defend. And I think in his mind is, let's get to full time, let's play extra time. This guy defends and he continues to defend. In the 85th minute now. And the score is 1-1. Literally 6 minutes later, McAllister shoots the ball and hits the post. Messi gets the rebound. Messi is now on the right side of the field, outside the box. He goes on his right foot. And Messi is not known for his right foot. And people always say he does not have a weak foot. But I'm telling you, you only have that opinion because he doesn't use his right foot. but doesn't mean he can't use his right foot. A few times he's seen in this match, he crossed with his right foot and it's inch perfect. And once again, he crosses on his right foot and Lautaro Martinez hits it into an open net. The irony from before, you brought on Dan Burn to hit these kind of balls out, but you concede to a cross and a header. And now they're losing 2-1. And guess what? Now is when Tuchel decides we have to attack. He brought on Rashford and he brings on Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney, who hasn't played a single minute this whole tournament, he brings on Toney. Okay, so now they have 7 defenders on the field and they are losing and they have about 7-8 more minutes. What can they do? They put Dan Burn at striker and Ezri Konsa is literally playing right wing back, right wing. Ezri Konsa was swinging in crosses for Dan Burn, bro. In a semi-final of a World Cup. I don't know if Tuchel was brought in to purposely sabotage this English team, but it seemed more likely than not. These tactics were outrageous, bro. This is not something you see from anyone. Even the worst of managers, you don't see these things. But obviously they did not score and Argentina went through. And let's talk about Messi. You might think that, oh, England gave Messi the ball. They gave him space, they gave him time, they gave him room to do anything he wants. But this is 39-year-old Messi. And as we've seen throughout the tournament, Messi doesn't start the game well. He continues to walk. He loses the ball a lot of times. But we've seen when the team needs him the most, whether it be in the last 10 minutes, last 20 minutes, this guy has like a system in his body where he can choose which era of Messi he wants to be in. He can just push a button and Messi 2012 is there. He can push a button and Messi 2019 is there. This guy is not real, bro. Even in the first half, this guy is 39 years old, but you see his strength to bounce Harry Kane off just like that, bro. And when Nico O'Reilly just came on, the ball was about 20 meters away. Nico O'Reilly versus Messi, foot race, and Messi got to the ball first. This guy is crazy. And in that last 35 minutes against England, he showed that he can still run, bro. He was pressing. He was running for the ball, chasing for the ball. And he told the world, I don't need to score to be effective. You give me the ball on the right wing and I'll give you the best crosses you've ever seen in your life. And that's what he did. He got 2 assists. But he could have ended up with 3, 4 if the other Argentinians could have finished. This is crazy. You know why? I was born in 2006. In 2007, Messi was already considered one of the best players of the world, and many players and managers said that he is the best in the world. Fast forward 19 years. I'm now 20 years old. Messi is 39 years old. In the past 4 years, Messi has been playing in the MLS. He comes to the World Cup and he shows the world that he is still the best player in the world. All these new gens, Mbappe and Yamal, he said, respect me. I'm still the best. And I'll show you I'm still the best. This is crazy, bro. And because of that, because of his performance this whole tournament, he's gonna be meeting Lamine Yamal in the final. Messi has 8 goals and 4 assists in this tournament. More goal contributions than anyone in this tournament. And he is top goal scorer all time World Cup. Top assister all time World Cup. There's been many agendas on Messi. He is FIFA's princess. The World Cup is rigged for him. You can't rig greatness, bro. You can do anything, but you cannot replicate the level of greatness that Messi possesses. The skills, the abilities, the knowledge that Messi shows on the pitch. You can't replicate that. You can't rig that, bro. Yes, I acknowledge that Argentina had a lot of calls for them throughout this tournament. The first goal against Austria should have been ruled out. In Egypt match, the Egypt goal should have been ruled out. The penalty was not a penalty. And people say, why don't they check VAR? Do they know? Do these football LARPers know that every single action is checked by VAR? That the VAR tells the referee whether it deserves to be checked for a second time. The Egypt penalty calls were clear and obvious. And you can't rate 3 goals in the last 15 matches. You don't blame FIFA for sitting back and conceding 3 goals in the last 15 matches. You go to the Switzerland match. That was a fair game. You can't say it's rigged because Embolo decides to dive in the middle of the pitch. You can't say it's rigged when they ask for Paredes to get a yellow card, which then gave them the option to check the VAR and give Embolo a yellow card. You can't say it's rigged. All in all, this final was what I predicted before the tournament started, but obviously throughout the tournament, the performances of every team, my prediction changed before the semi-finals kicked off. I thought France and England would go to the final, but I was wrong, and I hold my hands up again for that. So yeah, Argentina, Spain, final. Let me know your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Ciao.